The Florida Joint Center for Citizenship presents the Declaration of Independence, Video 2, Colonial Complaints and Grievances. As a refresher, the Declaration of Independence had two purposes. It outlined colonial complaints against the king and stated Americans' desire to be an independent country. The main argument of the Declaration was that government had a responsibility to protect natural rights, and the King of England was not doing this. In this video, we're going to explore some of the complaints and grievances the colonists had against the King of England. If you haven't done so already, be sure to watch the first video in this module on the Declaration of Independence to get a better sense of what we mean when we say natural rights and some of the other concepts we're talking about here. After watching this video, you'll be able to recognize the connections between specific grievances in the Declaration of Independence and natural rights violations, and recognize colonial complaints as identified in the Declaration of Independence. So let's dive in and get started. Wait a minute, what do we mean by grievance? Well, a grievance is a serious complaint about someone's actions, and the Declaration lists a number of grievances against the king. And these are ways in which the king violated natural rights. These are the grievances the colonists had against the king. So the colonists had grievances about the king violating natural rights. What are natural rights? Well, as a reminder, remember that natural rights are things you're born with, and they can't be taken away by the government. And for the Founding Fathers, these were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They accused the king of violating all three of these. The fact that the government had a responsibility to protect people's natural rights was the main argument of the writers of the Declaration of Independence. Let's look at some examples of colonial grievances, or complaints, and the natural rights that were violated by the actions of the English government. Example 1. For suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. This grievance means that the King of England ended colonial legislatures, making colonists unable to govern themselves. The natural rights violated here include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Colonists were not free to govern themselves or make decisions about their lives or even their best interests. Another grievance. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. This grievance means that the King of England limited judicial powers, and judges were not independent to make decisions based on the law. The natural right violated here is liberty. Judges could be influenced by the English government because their salaries and jobs were dependent on the king. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. This grievance is pretty basic. The King of England forced colonists to let soldiers they did not know stay in their homes. The natural right violations here were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Colonists were unable to live freely with English soldiers forced into their homes. Here's another grievance. For imposing taxes on us without our consent. With this grievance, the king taxed the colonists without their permission, and without the funds earned from the taxes actually benefiting the colonists. This was taxation without representation. The natural right violation here is of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. The colonists were limited in their freedom and ability to pursue what made them happy as a result of having to pay more money in taxes. They didn't have the money to do what they wanted to do. Now it's your turn. Summarize each grievance in your own words and identify the natural rights being violated and how they are being violated. Here's our first one. For depriving us, in many cases, of the benefits of trial by jury. Summarize this one in your own words and identify the natural rights being violated and how they're being violated. Did you get it? A summary of this grievance is that the king took away the right to trial by a jury. Were you able to identify the natural rights being violated? The natural rights being violated include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Colonists are unable to be free, live their life, or pursue what made them happy if they did not have a trial by a jury, especially with judges who were paid by the king. Let's do another one. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. What does this mean, and what's a natural right violation? This might be a tougher one, but what it means is that soldiers are in the streets and homes and trying to control the people without the permission of the colonial legislature. Our natural right violation is liberty. Soldiers were stopping people on the streets and sometimes arresting them. So let's recap a little bit now that we've gone over some of the grievances. Remember that the Declaration of Independence argued that protecting natural rights was the most important job of government. And the Declaration listed grievances against the King of England, ways in which he was violating the natural rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As a reminder, be sure to view video 1 in this module to make sure you understand natural rights in the Declaration of Independence. You should be able to explain natural rights and be able to identify some of the grievances that are important in the Declaration of Independence. You can learn more about natural rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the founding in these topic areas on civics360. This video was created by the Florida Joint Center for Citizenship at the Lou Fry Institute. Thanks for watching.